glad you're all here this morning. We have a lot of folks, I'm getting to know people with their masks on. So I guess that's kind of an interesting dynamic in the land of COVID, right? But anyway, so I'm taking mine off. Welcome and good morning. I am very excited. I'm Barbara Allen, and I am the chair of the Opioid Crisis Community Council for Howard County. And I also serve on our Recovery-Oriented Systems of Care Council. There we go. And this event has been really, really important to many of us on the OOCC acronyms and the ROSC. We've been wanting to honor first responders and those involved for some time. Our plans for this year have been mitigated, if you will, by COVID, no surprise, correct? But we have today, and it actually is National First Responders Day across the country. So, all goodness. The things that we do within the OOCC and ROSC is to provide education in the community, which is something sorely needed, so people understand this thing we call substance use disorder or a disease of addiction. We also do a great deal of work with the intention of reducing stigma, because stigma is often what causes people to hesitate to go into treatment, to admit they have a problem, as well for the person as well as for their families. You're going to hear today a lot of information, and there's always more, to say the least. But we look at it this way. Working with our first responders on the OOCC and ROSC, together we're better. That's just the bottom line. And it is in gratitude that we bring together today the men and women of Howard County who work diligently and with heart, to meet the varied needs of our community. The thing is, today we have a pandemic, but within the pandemic we still have the opioid epidemic, and it adds another layer of responsibility and workload to our first responders. So it's really important to us, even more so, to do this appreciation event. Now, those of you who know me know I can talk forever, but my time is now clicking away. So I am, without further ado, going to introduce our county executive, Calvin Ball. And I want to say that here, one of the things that I've learned over the years working in this environment is the complexity of running a county, much less a state. So I want to honor County Executive Ball for all the things that he has to deal with, and thank his staff for all of the work they do. So without further ado, County Executive.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I want to give a special thanks to Barbara Allen for not just pulling this incredibly important event together, but your partnership and all of the work that you do to ensure that our neighbors, our family, our friends who are going through these challenges with substance misuse are never forgotten and always seen. It's important that we do honor First Responders Day, to honor the people who rush in when others are rushing out, who oftentimes see us at some of our worst, most challenging moments and bring, as Barbara said, compassion, care, expertise, professionalism, and help us see our way through. We are in unprecedented and challenging times, and facing this global pandemic, this health crisis, many of us are not only feeling physically distant, but a little isolated. We had made so many strides as a county throughout 2019 to improve our data when it came to overdose and, unfortunately, losing some of our neighbors to overdose. Now, during 2020, we're starting to slip, and we're starting to lose people. And so it is incumbent upon us, it is our responsibility to continue to embrace that fierce urgency of now, even more than ever, to never forget our neighbors who are struggling, and to stand with our first responders who are on the front line and who are in the eye of this storm, trying to keep us safe and helping ensure that we feel safe. So thank you all so much for being here today. But my charge to you is to continue tomorrow, next week, next month, and beyond, to remember, acknowledge, and honor our first responders, our heroes. Thank you.
Sidewalk. So I'm really tickled today that we have Lieutenant Governor, there he is. You're shorter next to him. Did you know that? I always look up to this man, but still will. Anyway, I'm really thrilled today that we have Lieutenant Governor Lloyd Rutherford with us. I have the privilege of working with him in a variety of ways, and as he will tell the story, when he and Governor Hogan were running for election initially, they were surprised at what they learned about this particular epidemic that we have. And so he's been really at the forefront of pushing things that we do in the state to improve our lives and the lives of people affected. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you Lieutenant Governor Lloyd Rutherford.
Thank you, Barbara. And I guess coming after the county executive, I need to stand on a podium or something. Yes. Well, thank you for having me today, and particularly the fact that we're here honoring our first responders. And I want to thank the first responders who are here, but just to point out, like I think was already said by the county executive as well as Barbara, in this unprecedented time of COVID, the COVID pandemic, we've been calling upon our first responders probably more so than ever before. And as Barbara mentioned, during my time as Lieutenant Governor, I've had a lot of focus on the opioid crisis and the challenges that we face. And it's not just here in Maryland, but across the country. And our first responders are literally the first ones on the scene when people are in crisis associated with substance use disorder or mental health conditions. And so they are often the difference between life and death for these individuals. And so we really want to appreciate the fact that they're there for us every day. They go to work every day to make sure that we're safe, and as the county executive said, and to feel safe. And I'm particularly proud to be here today because I am a Howard County resident. So I rely on these individuals to keep us safe and to be there in our times of need for all of us. And so I just again want to say thank you to them, thank you to what they do, and ask that we all recognize the important role that our first responders play in our society. Their job is not easy, and often it is dangerous and life-threatening. But I want to express on behalf of our administration how much we appreciate those who put their lives on the line every day to keep us safe and to take care of us. And it doesn't matter if it's the EMS, the police, the fire, all those involved, and all the support that comes in behind them to make sure that we're safe. And so God bless them, God bless their families, because their families have to see them walk out the door every day. And God bless Maryland, Howard County, and the United States of America. Thank you.
So thank you, Lieutenant Governor Rutherford. Thank you. The next person I'm going to introduce to you is somebody very special. And again, for those who know me, you know that I tear up a lot. But I love this kid. So one of the things, I'm so thrilled to be able to introduce you to Matt Stout. Matt is a person in recovery, and I've come to know him over the years, and he's next to my husband. He's the only person who got a real life hug this morning, because that's just how it is, you know? You gotta love them. So he has a story to tell, and I will tell you that by the grace of God and the recovery here, she's going to tell you about, his mother and father and brother are loving that they can live in the grace of Matt still being part of his life. Without further ado, Matt, come on up.
Morning. That's very generous, Barbara. Thank you for the hug. My name is Matt Stout. I was born to an incredible family who resides in this county. I lived my childhood in this county. My big brother and hero became a member of and later advanced his career as a fireman and EMT here in this county. We are without a doubt a family who loves and admires the work of all first responders. And we have a small amount of emotional investment in the safety and encouragement of those in the work of first response, fire and rescue, medical, to say the least. Alongside being a resident of this county, I am also a survivor of Narcan-revived overdose administered to me in this county. And the reality of my family remaining in one piece is solely the result of steadfast first responders, EMT, and protocols in place to revive the addict. That addict being myself on that day and several other times before and after. It's not lost on me nor my family that to most outsiders looking in, the drug addict is often a display of insane, repetitive, self-destructive, and publicly destructive behavior. So often I am sure calls come in and you see the very person revived by your hands just hours before in need of Narcan revival once again, and to feel discouragement or distrust or even apathy is not unfair. And yet you persist. To often then leave us where you found us at our insistence or at the bay doors of an ER in the care of medical hands to wonder where we go. Do we ever stop the insanity? And wondering if what we're even doing is helping. I assure you, my mother and my father have their son today because and only because of the work you do, period. We thank you. What you do is the root and reason, the only reason so many of us are alive today, to have then sought treatment and to have found recovery, to now be able to extend our hands out towards the firing line to others, and alongside you, to those who also need it. As a once sick and suffering person, I've sought the help I needed through and can assist in others because of this means of help. We needed help, we got the help, and now we must help others. This is only possible because of the work that you do. My family and I thank you again. If anyone is in need of help with treatment, or if any family members need direction for their loved ones, I will give my number to Barbara Allen, and I insist that you call me directly, and I can help in that way. Thank you all again. Thank you. Thank you.
I just love that kid, you know? I think he'll always be a kid to me, but so I'm going to turn over the program to Taryn Powell. Taryn is on our OCCC committee as well, and he and I have been the conspirators of making sure this happened no matter what. So Taryn, come on down.
Good morning. Thank you. Matt, thank you for the story, your survival, recovery. Barb, absolutely conspiring with you to get this done. I found it very, very important. As Barbara said, my name is Taryn Powell. I'm the chairman of the Law Enforcement Adjudication Committee on the Opioid Crisis Community Council for Howard County. I'm more of a behind-the-scenes type guy. Just want to get the job done. It's really, really important for me to make sure that we acknowledge and say thank you. I don't think it should be a hard thing to say thank you to those who run the departments, are out there on the front lines, giving themselves up to help folks in recovery, folks in crisis, and responding to all emergencies. So I won't belabor any points because, again, it's really not about me. It's just about saying thank you. So I'll get on with some of the certificates. I want to give the first certificate of appreciation to Major Tom Ehart. Howard County's first responder community is a great group tasked with the duty to ensure the safety of its residents. The hard-working men and women of our police, fire, and rescue, sheriff, state's attorney, and detention organizations are not taken for granted. Beyond simply showing up for work, Howard County is blessed to experience person-to-person dedication of each member in this infrastructure of work. The Howard County Opioid Crisis Community Council, or the OOCC, was established to provide strategic guidance to address the growing opioid epidemic within Howard County. The council was charged with shedding light on the public health crisis of the opioid epidemic. Partnering with the Howard County Recovery-Oriented Systems of Care, or the ROSC Committee, extends solutions across Howard County. The ROSC Committee sponsors annual events to educate and reduce stigma. These include the Home Run for Recovery, Recovery Walk, and an International Overdose Awareness Day, or IOAD. The impact of the opioid epidemic has no bounds and has touched every community within the county. The OOCC and the ROSC Committee collaborate to bring hope and healthy options to all residents. Howard County residents have had no stronger supporter in the fight against opioid addiction and overdose from its first responders. Howard County's first responders have been and remain the cornerstone of the community in its effort to save lives. The OOCC and ROSC formally recognize and appreciate Howard County's first responders for professional skills, dedication, and personal sacrifices. We honor your responsiveness, reliability in the face of the county's most challenging emergencies, especially in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic. Through your selflessness and tireless work, the residents of Howard County are well cared for and much safer. Though it's hard and often goes without recognition, the OOCC and ROSC honor our first responders. Next, we'll honor Deputy Chief Gordon Watts.
Can I get the podium to stand up?
Just keep my mask on. Next, it'll be Sheriff Marcus Harris. Smiling hard behind these masks. Next will be State's Attorney Richard Gibson. Thank you. not least, Detention Director Jack Cavanaugh.
That's the last one, yeah, let's do one with all the,
Do you need a, are you good?
okay. Your lights down a bit.
As we look across the landscape, what it is that's needed in a system of care, we do include, of course, Rich Gibson and his staff from the state's attorney's office for what they provide to people coming through drug court and other support needs that are there, as well as Jack Cavanaugh at the detention center, he and his staff. I work at the state level at many things, and treatment behind the walls is so important. And Jack has embraced it, and it's happening. So it takes more than a village, to say the least. So now I'm going to introduce Carol Boyer and Chris Collins. They are from our ROSC committee, and take it away, Carol and Chris.
Good morning. As stated, my name is Chris Collins. I'm the Recovery Support and Criminal Justice Services Supervisor for the Howard County Health Department, and also co-chair of the Howard County ROSC Committee. I am joined today by Carol, who is also our co-chair. On behalf of the Opioid Crisis Community Council and the Howard County Recovery Oriented Systems of Care, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today. As someone who works pretty hand in hand with a lot of the agencies here discussed, I am acutely aware of all the programs and things that they have implemented, changes to policies and procedures to address this issue, and the outright total new programs that have been completed or in the process of being completed to address this issue. I'll give a shout out to my friends over there in corrections. We run some programs in there, and they've been instrumental in getting things like medication assisted treatment into the jail, peer support into the jail, re-entry services. Our state's attorney, Mr. Gibson, we're in the process of implementing a LEAD program. So I, once again, am really aware of the work that goes into addressing this crisis. I want to say thank you to everyone. With that being said, I'll turn it over to Carol for some conversation.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Well, thanks again, Chris. That actually concludes our program for this morning, but we want to leave you with a special message. Gandhi once said, "You find yourself when you lose yourself in service to others." It is our wish for our first responders that you continue to find yourselves while serving others, especially when serving those who are struggling with substance use disorders and mental health challenges. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Lloyd, Rutherford, for everything that you and your administration is doing for our folks here in Maryland. Thank you, County Executive Ball, for your passion, your vision, and your energy. Thanks to all of you who are here for your support. Thanks to all of you joining us on Facebook Live. You know, it really does take a village, and it really, truly is something that we can do together. You know, we hear it all the time, we're stronger together. But really, we are going to get through all of this, and we're going to do it together. So thank you. If you're interested in hearing more about the Opioid Crisis Community Council with Barb Allen and her team, or you want to hear more about Howard County Health Department's recovery-oriented systems of care, please reach out. We welcome anyone. And, you know, your voice matters. So please today go out, honor our first responders. Please be safe, and happy National First Responders Appreciation Day. Thank you, everyone.
So many people here are used to waiting for dismissed. So thank you, everyone. Truly, thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Lloyd.
Yes, that's very similar, but it's not an athlete.